Good morning. This is the new channel, What in the World? And I am Jackson, your host. You've probably seen me from Joinkles TV and being an asshole on the internet. You know what? I gotta fucking get it out somewhere. Now let's talk about Ted Cruz. Well, not him. Let's talk about that piece of shit and his dog Snowflake. Is it not ironic that their dog Snowflake, who I'm sure is a Republican, is named after a Democrat because everybody calls everybody snowflakes, and this dude fucking flakes out and leaves his city, his state, and goes to a different country because it's cold. And you left the dog behind, you fucking piece of shit. I don't know if you had a caretaker or a doggy sitter, or I know it wasn't your neighbors because they're the ones that turned your ass the fuck in to the New York Times. Now, this is a good question for men. When you're shaving your balls, see me, I use a trimmer, a little battery powered. It's a little intimidating when you're down there, especially when it snags the sack. How do you do it? How do you get those things fucking smooth? Do you have to just get the right time, just batwing your sack across the counter with little clothespins and fucking just shave away? Or do you just go individual hairs? Or do you get a little tiny scissors? I know you don't use Nair. I know nobody's using Nair. And we landed on Mars. Well, we didn't. The rover did and was choppered in. God, that's cool. We landed on Mars. And this thing is taking selfies. And now it's got to get the samples back to Earth. This thing's going to basically just fucking shoot this shit up like a fucking rocket. Like a mortar. It's going to mortar information from planet to planet. Crazy. It's crazy. So, I want to talk about a personal experience I had with my grandfather. And I come home, I'm a little hungover, I don't want to do nothing. And he tells me that we're going to start a bonfire. So I said, oh, fuck it, guess we're going to start a bonfire. And we get out there and he's got this big pile of garbage and he's like, hey, Grandpa, don't you think don't you think it's a little dry? We don't want to catch this shit on fire. And he says, hell, Bub, you couldn't catch this field on fire if you tried. Now go ahead and spray that on there and light it. So I did what I was told. And after a couple minutes of watching this fire burn, I decided to walk around to the other side and see what's going on there. And what do you know? Our fucking field is on fire. So I take off running to go get a hose, and I come running back, and by the time I've got this hose so stretched out, it's just fucking... My grandpa looks at me, and he says, call the fire department! And I fucking take off running to get to the house, and he's telling me the address to our house. I've lived here for 20 years, well, 15 years at this time. So I call 911, I'm like, hey, we got a fire out here, click. Well, I said I didn't give them the address. And sure enough, 90 seconds later, they showed up. And they're driving out in our field. They're putting all the fire out. And I'm just sitting there watching this shit. And my grandpa's out there freaking out. And I look over and there's this cop that's just appeared. This fucking cop appeared out of nowhere. And he's got his hand on his unsnapped holster, and he's looking at me. He says, young man, you want to tell me what happened here? This is the only time I've ever snitched in my life, and I fucking snitched my way out of this one. I says, yeah, it was that man right over there. Go talk to that man. And the cop kind of looks at the crazy old guy out in the field and leaves me alone. So I go inside and I lay down. I'm still hungover. I didn't want to do this. About 30 minutes goes by and my grandpa damn near kicks my door down. He says, you little shit, you threw me under the bus. And I says, hey man, you couldn't catch that field on fire if you tried, dude, so sorry. And I'm like, plus, he had his hand on his gun. Did it matter? No. No, it didn't matter. Field was on fire. Things were just silly. Now, what about the 94 Zimbabwe alien landing? Okay, this was in broad daylight. Like 100 kids and the headmistress, saw this spacecraft land in broad daylight. Hundreds of kids. And these kids have all been interviewed, and they've all said like the same stuff, and they've drawn the craft. And then back in like 1964 in Australia, another one touched down outside of a school. Why are they touching down outside the schools, huh? The kids of the future, that's fine. That's fine. But these aliens know that we're hostile. And that we'd probably do butt stuff to them if we captured an alien. So yeah, they land outside of schools. They land where they're not going to get fucking raw dogged in the back of a fucking Tahoe on their way to the thing, the Area 51, where they're never going to see the light of day again. Think about that. You're an alien from another planet, and you show up here, and you witness how we operate. Are you really going to touch down? I wouldn't touch down. I'd get the fuck out. I'd fucking leave. I would go back to where I came from, and I'd tell the boss, I'd be like, no. We're not going there. No. They're doing butt stuff to aliens. And I'd be like, they got Fred. They took Fred. I'm sure aliens would have just normal American names. And I'm sure they speak English. They have to. You'd have to learn the language, right? If you've been observing us for probably thousands of years, is my guess. But after time goes on, and we start getting a little bit more technologically advanced, these aliens are backing up. Because I can tell you right now, I would not come here. You couldn't pay me to come here. Do you think aliens fucking have little fucking get-togethers, and they have little army recruiters fucking show up and say, hey, we are going to planet Earth, and we need your help. We will pay for your spacecraft and your new fucking tentacles, whatever the hell you've got. You just come with us to planet Earth, and we'll pay for everything. Health insurance. All of it. You just got to be a good little alien. Oh. This is the first episode. I don't know if we're going to publish it or not. But all I got to say with all of this shit that's going on is what in the world, man? What in the world? What in the fucking world, man?